Howdy folks, welcome to Whiskey Web Wednesday. I'm Leon Webb, distiller here at Shelter Point Distillery. Thanks for spending a part of your day with me. And today we're going to talk about this beautiful Speyside whiskey. This is anCnoc, 16-year-old, cask strength. And this is the 125th anniversary of this whiskey, so of this distillery should I say. So it was established in 1894. And this was actually gifted to us by a new member of staff. The new member of staff's name shall remain undisclosed for now, but it will all be revealed shortly. But that's how to really impress your new employer. Bring them a whiskey like this, because it's absolutely delicious. And as you'll notice from the bottle, we've already had a wee dram after work, so I've had a bit of time with it, and it's a very, very tasty treat indeed. So this whiskey here is non-chill filtered natural colour, as it says on the bottle. It's a limited edition whiskey. I think it's around 500 bottles around there, so not a lot of it. And the price in the UK was about £99. So I'm guessing in BC here in Canada it's probably around $200 Canadian, thereabouts. It's quite an interesting background to this whiskey, because most people Google anCnoc distillery if they're trying to find out where it's made, but it's actually made in Knockdhu distillery. And the reason they changed it from Knockdhu to anCnoc was because there's another distillery in Speyside called Knockdhu. So there you go, that's a bit of a tongue twister right there. anCnoc, Knockdhu and Knockdhu all together, very confusing. So what they're trying to do is just separate their marketing from the Knockdhu distillery, just so it's clearer for consumers as to what's what. You can imagine after a few drams you might get a little confused. The distillery was founded by John Morrison. Sounds like a good Highland name there. And the colour, pale bright gold, aroma, sweet vanilla, notes of coconut and butterscotch, toffee, palate citrus, faintly spicy vanilla. Pretty much a classic Speyside we're talking here. Fresh, bright, fruity notes. And this has been matured exclusively in ex-bourbon casks. So Knockdhu Distillery typically use ex-bourbon or Oloroso sherry casks for their maturation, and this one's just a straight ex-bourbon maturation for 16 years. Bottled at cask strength, so a lovely 56.3% alcohol. If you're interested in the calories, it's only 78 calories per dram, which is at least 100 calories less than a pint of Guinness. So this is the healthy way to drink alcohol, folks. Every bottle contains 39.4 UK units, and they say that you're only allowed 2 to 3 units per day, so it should take you at least 10 to 15 days to drink this according to the UK government, but I challenge you to try and drink it that slowly, because this is delicious. This has got high drinkability. Let's go through a few little details of this whiskey before we give it a wee taste. So anCnoc is pronounced anCnoc like that, and that means the hill in Gaelic. The distillery Knockdhu was established in 1894. It was upgraded in 2006, but it still has very, very traditional methods of production. Apparently the highest tech gadget in there is a calculator. There's not many computers or anything like that, so they're still very much the old school style of distillery. Interestingly, their wort is filtered, and if you think of like a cyclone vacuum cleaner, that's the kind of system they use to filter their wort. And the reason they do this is because they want to make a very bright, estery, fruity wort from their mash. So that's an unusual step that you don't often see. The fermentation is quite short, 45 hours, but because of the wort filtration you do get that nice estery spirit there. They've got one wash still, one spirit still, and they make about 1.7 million litres of absolute alcohol a year. The spirit still is quite a tall still, so nice light spirit. It's flat bottomed and it slopes downward a little bit on the line arm, but it does make a fresh, zesty spirit, which is rather delicious. Interestingly as well, they've, as part of the 2006 upgrades, they put in these new wetlands, and the wetlands are there to basically process the effluent. It's all filtered on site, so they've got 2 kilometres of wetlands with about 21,000 plants, and all this like spent liquid that comes from the distilling process goes through the wetlands and it's naturally filtered, and you can just imagine the insects, the butterflies all fluttering around and being quite merry from all this liquid coming from the Knockdhu distillery. Lastly, I thought this was quite interesting from their website as well, was there's a podcast on the anCnoc website, and this is run by the distillery manager Gordon Bruce, who's got a lovely Highland accent. So if you want to listen to some Highland dulcet tones talking about whiskey, one of the ones I listened to is an interview with Mark Gillespie, who does the Whisky cast here in North America. But yeah, not too many distillery websites have a podcast. Maybe this will be something that we'll see more of in the future, but I think that's a nice touch, because this particular one called Knock Tales, you get some interesting tales from not only Knockdhu distillery, but also, you know, what's happening elsewhere in the world, like Patagonia and places like that. So check it out, the Knockdhu website, or should I say the anCnoc website. And yeah, let's give this lovely Speyside dram a wee taste. Now you can see right away from this dram, if you give it a little scoosh, you get little bubbles forming around the glass. This is a very strong indicator that this whiskey is above 50% alcohol. So a nice little test there just to show the strength of the spirit. The legs on this whiskey, they're fat and slow. Very good sign. A nice oily spirit. Maybe with the downward sloping line arms there, we're getting a bit of oiliness coming through. But that's a damn fine looking spirit, yeah. Pale gold, bright colour. Baked apple pie, vanilla custard. Bit of honey. Crunchy bar, honeycomb. Fresh vanilla pods. Yeah, a little bit of baking spices too. This is my favourite part of the whiskey right there. The mouthfeel is amazing, beautiful oily texture, tons of fruit, tons of pastry, nice bit of sweetness on the end of the tongue. Absolutely delicious. And then because it's cask strength as well, getting a nice warming feel as it goes down, and a beautiful long finish. This is fantastic whiskey. Let's see what happens if we add a couple of drops of water. Just a wee tickle, not too much. Brings out more of the fruit notes with a touch of water, so we're talking more your canned fruit salad in rich, delicious sweet syrup. Only 20% of this stuff goes into single malts, which is a real shame, because this is an excellent whiskey that can stand on its own 2 legs very easily. Beautifully balanced. delicious. So this whiskey I highly recommend if you ever bump into it on the road. Thank you very much, the new staff member for bringing such a delicious treat to start your Shelter Point journey with. So thank you very much everyone for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all that good YouTube stuff if you fancy it. And yeah, we'll see you next week for the next video. Cheers.